Welcome to Bending Over Backwards with James Adkins. I'm your host, Dr. James Adkins, where each week we will dive into what it takes to break through barriers and change the game in life, business, and medicine. Today's guest is Clayton Lindley, and Clayton is a businessman, an entrepreneur, and also an extreme sport. You're a skateboarder. You're an extreme athlete on boards.
I do a lot.
You do a lot.
I like to have a good time. What can I say?
Very cool. So take me back. When was the first time you jumped on a moving board with wheels on it? Something.
So funny story. I actually grew up out in the country, and so
There's no roads.
out in Amarillo, Texas.
Okay.
And so I went to a Christian school for a long time until third grade. I was an only child, so I was just like playing all these sports. I was playing soccer. When I was bored, I'd go kick the ball up against the wall. Anything to keep me occupied. And I started like kind of skateboarding a little bit, like just in my front yard. There's a little piece of concrete, so I kind of just like go in circles, started rollerblading. And then I moved to this public school and found out that there was 56 kids in my neighborhood that were all within a couple years of each other.
Okay.
And so it was just pure chaos. It was crazy. So we started like jumping off, we started learning backflips, doing gymnastics, riding dirt bikes, building dirt jumps in the backyard. Then when it would dump snow, we would snowboard into my canyon and we'd like pull each other behind the four-wheeler, just everything. So that was kind of the beginning of it. And then it slowly evolved from, jumping off of, like backflipping off of a little 10-foot tall rock to the ground. Now it's
jumping in the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, now I'm jumping off rocks with a backpack. Yeah. And then I did a 10-year career in freestyle scooters.
Okay.
And so traveled around the world, did a bunch of contests.
Freestyle
tours.
scooters.
Yep.
So give me a visual of freestyle scooters.
So freestyle scooters,
like my son's, right?
It's basically like the Razor scooter that you see at Walmart,
my
but
son's got 'em.
built to, it's made out of titanium, magnesium.
Okay.
What is it? T7 grade aluminum or something like that.
Okay.
So it's built really, really well. And it's to withstand, these 40-foot jumps that you're jumping, going 30 miles an hour. Like they can't fall apart like a Razor scooter would. So it's on a whole nother level. So I did that for 10 years.
That was a full-time job. That was your career for 10 years.
And then
you sponsored and you did all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I did Instagram stuff.
I've seen some of it.
Built a following around that. And then that started getting less scary because once you hit mega ramps, that's like the biggest ramp you can hit.
Mega
ramp. Yeah, mega ramp is a 6-story tall roll-in.
Okay.
And then you drop in, and the gaps are either between 40 foot, 50, 60, or 70 feet. And then once you land, you have to then hit a 3-story tall quarter pipe and try not to die.
Oh my
goodness. So once that becomes not that scary, then it becomes this like, the evolution continues. It's like, how can I push my mind and body even further than what I'm already doing? Mm-hmm. And that's where when I started skydiving, I loved it. And then I started flying wingsuits. I loved it. And then I was like, what's the next thing? And the next thing was base jumping and climbing. So now I'm training to do climb to base jumps. So we do like multi-pitch climbs into a base jump.
Have you been base jumping already?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have about 100 base jumps.
Okay. So so when I used to introduce myself when I was single to, before I got married, I'd say, I do extreme sports, snowboard, kite surf.
It's still
That's
dangerous.
nothing like it's nothing like what you do. I mean, I get up off a wave, a couple feet when I'm a kite surfer, and that's about as, but base jumping, climbing up a rock and jumping off with the suit on.
Epic.
Now
I don't.
How do you control your heart rate doing that?
I don't wingsuit base jump yet.
Okay, you're training.
I may.
Okay,
I haven't decided yet, but
you're training.
But we'll see.
Just when I think of the visual of climbing, I'm scared to climb anyway. Like a rock, like climbing up a rock wall and then jumping off with the wing. That's next level stuff, man. How do you control? Someone asked, what's your morning routine for a guy who does extreme sports? That's something for me that I'm always.
It's always different.
Yeah,
it's always different. It's like, because also it depends on weather. Sure. So it's like if I go and jump, or I'm just climbing, or I'm just going to the skate park, or whatever. And since I already have like a job and business where that time fluctuates. It's like
Sure.
sometimes I'm up at 5 a.m. for a shoot. Sometimes I'm up till 5 p.m. or 5 a.m., if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
so the times are all over. So then
Okay.
my schedules for hobbies are all over. And so, but normally it's like, I wake up like everyone else. And then if we're going to go jump, then we try to do it really early. And so by the time it's 9, we've already done a
Okay.
1,700-foot climb.
So you don't do some Zen Buddha stuff like to meditate to get ready?
Mm.
No.
I mean, you're scared
Yeah.
because the consequences is death.
Yeah.
So, or it's going to hurt really bad when you hit the wall.
Yeah.
So, but really, I don't think it's really a heart rate thing. It's more of like a mental focus.
Focus.
That's the most important part, because you can't control your heart rate, because your brain and your body is telling you like everything.
That's fight or flight. 100%.
Like your primal instinct is, hey, we shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
But then your body and the other part of your mind is like, oh, I know I can do this. I know I'm capable.
Sure.
I know this is right. I know this is right. More things are stacked in my favor. And honestly, it's kind of like a really sensational thing, because it's almost its own meditation. Because when you're skydiving, you're base jumping, really,
Can't think about anything else.
like when you're kite surfing, anything, like the only thing that you're focused on is just that activity.
Yeah.
So in itself, it's like, yeah, it's extreme and your heart rate's up, you're breathing heavy, it's exhausting, but it's like you have such a sense of peace because there's nothing else matters in the world.
Yeah. Okay. So you're back in Amarillo, Texas. You're a young man. You grew up in a rural community.
No, the country.
Oh, in the country. I grew up in
Yep.
the country too.
Yeah, it was like everyone had like, I think we had one of the smallest properties and we had 13 acres.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it was cool.
Horses and cows and stuff like that.
Yeah, we had a horse. Sadly, I'm allergic, so I never became a horse boy
Allergic
like my
to
mom
a
wanted.
horse. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're in Amarillo, Texas. You get this gig for 10 years. You're traveling around the world. You're on your professional scooter, and then you decide to start a media company.
So funny, we'll go back to Amarillo.
Okay.
My dad's a director, so I grew up my
Okay.
whole life watching him, helping him on sets.
Okay.
So I'd watch
Natural.
him do like TV shows, documentaries, commercials, feature films, everything. So I've always been a part of it.
Okay.
And so then when I got into action sports, me and my buddy, well, my best friend Will, we started this company called Undialed and Scooters, which is like, it basically became the scooter media company.
Okay.
Like the freestyle scooter media company. It's still the biggest. And we ended up, I never stopped filming. It was like I was always working with my dad filming. And then I went to create this freestyle scooter company where we were traveling all over the world. And then we also started making tons of content. We were uploading to YouTube every single day, 3 times a day onto the Instagram, twice a day on our own Instagrams. It was a hustle.
Yeah.
And so it was cool because it's like I had this traditional film background and then this action film background. And then now I'm combining both of those to where now I can do everything. Like I filmed with Red Bull for Red Bull Rampage not too long ago. And then, the next day or like the next week, I'm filming a thing for this quantum instrument company called MKS Newport.
Okay.
And so
Cool.
it's the work's all over, but I have the skills now to do all of it, which is really cool.
When did you know, what age did you realize that you had a talent in that arena? You just weren't, there's a fear, there's something missing in you. Most people have this fear thing that turns, were you 12? Were you 14? When did you figure out that you could turn this into a career?
Like me being a professional athlete.
Because you're not just a professional athlete, you're a professional athlete in a dangerous arena.
Oh yeah.
It's not Sunday baseball.
I've had a lot of broken bones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun. My parents took my hospital bills quite a bit, so thanks, Mom. But I don't really know. I've always been good at sports.
Okay.
So it's like I played soccer for 9 years. I did track. My parents were awesome because they also allowed me to try all these different sports. So they put me in fencing, they put me in karate.
Oh, okay.
They just put me in everything to see if I liked it. And then I did Kids Inc. football, basketball, everything. And then soccer was really my thing. And then, I started skateboarding and riding BMX, doing gymnastics. And so I was doing all these sports. And then then it slowly evolved into, then I started wakeboarding and wake skating and then cliff jumping. And I think though that is kind of when it started becoming like, oh, I'm really good at this. I can do a double gainer off this cliff, and I'm like unfazed by it.
Because you had a gymnastics background that made it a little easier.
And then soccer.
Okay.
One thing I will say, this is my theory, is that I think every kid should play soccer and do gymnastics, even if it's for a couple
Hand-eye
years.
coordination, good stuff.
It's like it's everything. You have the cardio in soccer,
balance,
teamwork, and you have to work together with other people to make and accomplish a goal. But then gymnastics, it's like you're building your core muscles, your leg muscles, and your air awareness, and it's like you become a freak of nature. You can do everything.
Team sports are good for young boys.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I've got 2 young ones, and sometimes it's good to watch them lose. Sometimes losing is good.
Oh, it builds character.
Yeah, losing can be good for them. Okay, so I'm going to change gears on here.
Change it.
Okay, so
Get sciencey with me.
All right. So you've had some. I run a spine and pain program, so we put needles in guys like you and do surgery on patients like you. How old are you?
I'm 29.
You're young. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yes. So where's the next adventure? What do you got planned right now? You said skate. Clearly, climbing and winging is maybe the next thing.
Well,
expanding your business.
climbing's been a part of my life for about 4 years, but I want to start incorporating these like long approaches, kind of like alpine
Like
stuff.
you got to hike through miles to get to the rock.
Like hike miles,
climb.
and then you have to climb a couple pitches, and then once you're at the top, you jump off.
Okay.
That's like, I think, just the most primal thing you can do.
Because it's cardio getting there. You're packing
everything.
your stuff in.
And it's an adventure.
Mental, yeah.
And you have to plan, you have to prep, you have to train for it. It's like its own thing that not many people are doing.
Okay.
And so it's unique because also I'm kind of out of I want to phase out of being an influencer, I just want to do things that make me happy because now I have my production company, so I'm behind the camera and I'm honestly enjoying it because I've been in front of the camera for years, which is fine. I'll do it.
Yeah.
But after so long, it's, you get burnt out. And so this is just like another evolution of my life and a different trajectory.
Okay. So maybe you're more of a businessman now, more than just an influencer.
I would say like a mountain man and business man.
Okay, well
that's kind of what I'm turning
into. That's a cool
into.
image, man. Mountain man.
I just gotta have a sick beard. That's all I'm missing right now.
So, can you telemark? You gotta start telemarking. Then it's not snowboarding. Got to hike up the mountain.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That would be cool
for sure. Okay, what book have you read recently? I'll throw you a little curveball.
12 Rules of Life by Jordan Peterson.
Okay, Jordan Peterson. I think I just saw him on you've interviewed him, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
What a dynamic human being he is.
Oh, he's awesome.
Wow.
Most humble person I've ever met in my life.
Give me something Jordan Peterson taught you.
Honestly, it's his first rule. It's whenever you walk, keep your shoulders back and back straight.
Posture.
And it's like posture will change your attitude. How
you breathe.
Your emotions, how you breathe.
Yeah.
The way people see you.
Yeah.
It's a game changer.
It is.
And ever since I started doing that, it's like, I've always been confident, but I feel like I'm more confident, and people around me can tell that I'm more confident as well. So
all those subliminal cues.
Oh yeah.
You see in my earlier part of my life directing a spine and pain program, yet women with their shoulders rolled forward because young women, adolescents, when they want to, they start to grow and they're going through puberty, they want to hide their breasts. You see women sitting like this, and the confidence. You see this. You can't see me, I guess, but you see this posture thing, and it's real. Yeah, it's real. The way the way you sit, and Jordan Peterson taught you that. That's cool because the way you sit, and your nervous system is affected by your posture. That's 100%. Real stuff. Okay, all right. Well, give me something else. What else Jordan Peterson teach you?
I think it's the biggest one. All the other ones are kind of like
life lessons,
just reiterations of things that I've already heard.
Yeah.
But that was like, I feel like that's also something that I knew, but that's the one that clicked with me, really. And then the fact that
minute by minute, you can think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Throughout your day.
It's just something that it's kind of the first step because I'm going like one rule at a time.
Okay.
Like I've read the whole thing, but like I'm on one again, and I'm like focusing and acting on that. And then I'm going to go to the second one and really focus and like start adding it and like start slowly building
So
it.
do you have a special workout routine for a 29-year-old that climbs mountains? Is there something you do with your hands?
I just be really active. I just climb a lot. I
Oh,
climb a lot. I hike a lot. I do
stay
a lot of
active.
squats,
Yeah.
deadlifts,
Big muscles.
and then I do the Stairmaster. That's it.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
I ride scooters, and then I'm packing parachutes. So I'm like digging my thumbs into stuff, trying to pack it in, especially for skydiving because my
That's crazy
yeah.
stuff.
So you just
You pack your own chute and
oh yeah, I would not let anyone touch mine. At least in base. In
Yeah.
skydiving, I don't care. It'll open.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
yeah. So the chutes, what's the difference in the size of the chute for base jumping versus skydiving?
It's different material, different
Different
fabrics.
material. Okay.
So the fabric for base jumping is more porous.
Okay.
So it allows the air to go through. So you can actually fly the parachute backwards to get like so if you're in a position where you're like overshooting something and there's no other way out, you can actually fly it backwards and then sink it straight down to where you want to go. But a skydiving parachute is like a paraglider, it just wants to go.
Okay.
It's rigid, it won't collapse.
Okay.
You can like really throw that thing around and you'll be
So
fine.
it's not as nimble. Nowhere
No,
near as
it's
nimble.
it's more of like a high performance wing. So they go faster, they're way smaller,
Okay.
they're aggressive.
Yeah, these kites, the kites that I kite surf with, they're getting better and better.
Do they get bigger or what's the difference in
the
technology?
aerodynamics, and they're building them with these with air baffles in them, so they fly better.
Are those like cells? Like do they have cells that inflate?
Yeah, they do.
Cool.
They do.
Interesting.
And they can be as small as like I've got a 7-meter kite and I've got a 16-meter kite. So just
What does
kinda
that
depends.
difference do? What does like a 7 meter versus 16
Yeah,
do?
so the 7 meters a lot less wind, right?
Right.
Or excuse me, just the opposite, a lot more wind. So the higher the wind, the miles per hour of the wind, the smaller the kite.
That
So you
makes
want
sense.
a smaller kite,
Yeah.
because you get a 16-meter kite out there and it's blowing over 20 miles an hour. It'll put you on a building. Put you
Oh,
on
I bet.
yeah, it can get pretty.
Because I've seen the
quick.
videos of people like jumping over piers and
Yeah.
and all of that. It looks so
The
fun.
guys I ride with can jump over the boat and hand someone a beer, and these guys are old. They're older than me even. These guys are they're in their 60s, and they're ripped and they jump over the boat.
That's so cool.
Yeah, they're getting after it, staying with it.
Which do you got to Lake Pleasant for that, or where do you go?
So Lake Mojave is really the only place around here because it's between here and Vegas. There's a Venturi. So the way the wind blows through, you get a Venturi effect, and the heat rises. So you
So
get
it's
some
just
real good
really
lift.
is it more of a consistency thing?
Yeah, you got to have a long, flat surface so you can get wind that's consistent. You don't want buildings or wind shadows because then it throws off the kite and you can't control it as much.
Or mountains to where it'll create
Mountains
rotors
a
and
problem,
all that. Yeah.
So we'll go to the Hood River, go there frequently. Miami, La Ventana, Mexico. Those are good spots. But
Oh, that makes
around
sense.
here, the best spot is really Lake Mojave. It's hot and dry, but
I've never even heard of it.
good. No one goes there. My wife won't go there. It's terrible. It's terrible. Okay, so who's influenced you? When you think back, you talked about your father. So
Definitely my
somebody's
dad.
influenced you. Your dad?
My
Your
dad and Travis Pastrana.
Who's Travis Pastrana?
How dare you?
Did I? Is he a big boarder?
How dare you? No. No, he's like one of the all-time greatest action sport people. He's the first person to do a double backflip on a motorcycle.
Oh, okay.
I always watch because they did this thing called Nitro Circus back in the day.
Okay.
It's like kind of when Jackass and Nitro Circus were like building at the same time.
Yeah.
And so Nitro Circus, the head guy was Travis Pastrana.
Okay.
He is a badass.
Okay.
He is so crazy.
So you've ridden. So I did a crazy thing. I rode a motocross across Africa when I was before I was married. My
north
wife,
to south or east to west?
I say across Africa. I started in the northern part of Kenya, and we rode down through Tanzania on the border of Kenya and finished in Mombasa.
That's so epic.
It was amazing. It was 9 days of. We weren't on the tarmac. This is all. I mean, we're
All dirt
full shoulder
roads.
pad. Yeah, all dirt. We're riding through rivers. We've got a chase car. Got an expert motocross guy, a French, and I was in over my head.
Of course,
Me
he's
and this
French.
Yeah.
They're always French.
Are they?
Always.
Are they?
Well,
Wow,
it's
that's
always
interesting.
like the best people at action sports or like extreme sports,
My
they're
wife will
always
love
French
that.
for some reason.
My wife grew up in France, so she's.
Mm.
But this guy took off, you know, and it's me and this another old doctor, and we're riding these motorcycles, man. It was sleeping on the ground. We had, we crashed 9 times between the two of us. And luckily, we didn't have to get flown out of there, but he was an ED doc, and you know, he bruised his ribs one day, and we thought he had a pneumothorax. Thought we were going to have to fly him out of there. It was a mess. But so motocross is cool. I just got my boys into it. I bought 2 the electric
Little
Telarias.
Sorons?
Like a Saran, they're an upgrade. They're really
an upgrade to that?
they're upgrade.
Oh
They're,
my
they're
gosh.
fast.
That's
Front
scary.
end comes off the ground. The nitro booster.
What's it like being a doctor and then having one of your friends get injured, especially like in your realm? Is it like you just instantly know the signs, like,
Yeah, I knew.
or you just go full doctor mode and you're like, all right,
Yeah. You just kind of kick into instinct, right? You
Yeah.
look at when he got injured, the specific African trip, my best friend, the handlebar hit his ribs going through a river, hit his ribs. So he thought, as an emergency physician, he thought he had what's called a pneumothorax. He thought he had air between his pleura and his lungs where you could suffocate. So he's having trouble breathing. I've thought pretty quickly, and now he was being a big wussy, as he's going to hear this. It was just a muscle. So we were able to move some joints around and muscle him, put some opioids in his mouth for 2 days, put him in the truck.
It's feeling good.
And he was good. And he got back on a motorcycle after a few days. But motocross is a rough sport. What fractured bones have you had? Ankles?
I've snapped my tib and fib.
Oh.
I broke my
That's a
collarbone
real
once.
injury. You fracture your tibia.
Oh yeah.
You bleed out. That's serious.
Oh, well, thanks for making
Collarbone?
It's scaring me now.
Okay.
Everything I say, you're like, you could have died. You could have bled out. No, so I broke my tib and fib. That sucked. And then I've broken like pretty much all my toes, both sides of my feet. I have this, you might know what it is. I have this disease where I have an extra bone in my foot.
I don't know what it is.
And so if I hit it, and it still happens, if I hit it, it'll break again because it like detaches, like the ligaments detach. And so then for like a month, it hurts, but there's nothing they can do about it. They can take it out, but I'm like,
okay.
Yeah, I'd rather just leave it in.
Yeah.
And then I've broken all my fingers, broken, I don't know what this bone is, but you can see the bump.
Metacarpal.
But yeah, you can see the bump. I broke it there. I've broken my radius.
Yeah.
And then broke my collarbone once, shattered it once, so I have a nice plate in my shoulder.
Ooh.
And then I'm pretty sure I've broken my sacrum on the backside by my tailbone, like cracked it a couple times because it hurt for like 6 months, both times I've done it. And then I broke all 5 of these teeth.
Ooh.
So I got root canals on my front.
Do you wear a mouth guard when you jump?
No.
Ever? Never wear a mouth guard, even with motocross.
No.
Because I met a guy, Utah, bit his tongue off. You know.
Well, the thing is that you can really, the only thing a mouth guard does is prevent concussions.
Yeah, I guess it's not gonna.
Because I've seen kids that, this is like kind of graphic, but I've seen kids, they face plant with a mouth guard in and all their teeth are left in the mouth guard.
Ooh. That is a vicious sport.
It's very rough. Like that was scootering. That like scootering is a lot of face plants. Oh, I broke my nose too.
Yeah.
Speaking of which.
2 concussions.
I've had like 24, 25 concussions. Like really bad ones.
man.
The other ones where I've seen stars, I don't know how many times I've seen stars. So
Yeah.
couldn't count, probably hundreds.
Wow.
Yeah.
No sleep disorders with that? You're too young.
I actually had this a short time where I was going in monthly to get brain scans because I had 3 back to back, and
You're scared.
Yeah, I was I couldn't form sentences.
Yeah.
My vision was weird. I couldn't remember anything.
Yeah.
Like my memory's getting better, but it's still like kind of foggy.
I'm glad you're behind the camera now more, man.
Yeah.
You still have your hobbies though.
Right. That's also another thing is like I don't want to like continuously keep hitting my head, and I'm tired of laying on the ground or like laying on my couch because I can't walk because my like groin's split in half. You know.
And when you get older, you start to feel those a little more. You're still pretty young, but Get
Trying to
up.
be nimble, trying to do my yoga.
Yes, sir. Staying flexible.
Oh yeah. Just
Um,
have as much longevity as I can.
yeah. Are you a yoga guy?
Hmm. Oh yeah.
So that's kind of a, I said morning routine. What I meant with that, I think I caught you off guard. I didn't mean what do you do on a, because most people, well, a lot of people have a routine. Like
Yeah,
I get
see
up,
what you mean. Yeah.
I sauna almost every day. I got to do the cold plunge because it just helps reset my brain. I've
Yeah.
been doing that for a while. Or you meditate, or you pray, or whatever. Do you have anything like that, or
Um.
yoga? I guess.
So since my schedule is crazy, it's hard to keep at it. But at
Mhm.
least every day, I'll roll out. I'll use a lacrosse ball on my hips
Okay.
to really like get into my hips and get my hip flexors because my psoas and everything's pretty locked up.
Such an
Ju-
important muscle.
Yeah, just
The
from over the
most-
years.
That muscle, your iliopsoas, that muscle causes more problems than most human. That is probably the primary muscular problem with
Really?
patients with low back pain. It's almost
Really?
always the iliopsoas. Yeah, and when it's mimics a lot of disease. People get groin pain, and females will get peculiar abdominal pain. You can inject it. You can release it with your finger. That's a really important muscle. That's a
And it's
big,
all just from the psoas.
yeah, because the psoas has a big role to play in function of the musculoskeletal system. It's the primary muscle. It's really the only muscle that connects your torso to your lower extremity. It holds your lower body to your upper body, so it withstands a lot of stress. And although you're incredibly fit, the average American that has no core, they can't walk up a flight of stairs
Right.
without breathing hard.
Yeah.
We get weak. We sit all day too, and when you sit, that muscle shortens. And so
Yep.
when you're sitting, it stays shortened. And so I'm glad to see work on that. So
Yeah,
that's kind of meditation.
That's
to
my
you.
biggest thing. And then I
Relaxing.
stretch and I have my yoga mat laid out all the time, and I'll do just like 10 minutes, just trying to get my mobility and because that's really the biggest thing. And I try to get like 10,000 steps a day.
Yeah, you're
At the
constantly
minimum.
moving.
Yeah.
Staying moving.
Actually, so where my condo is, there's a golf course that goes around
Mhm.
it. So when I'm editing and I'm like, I just know I need a break, I'll go play a quick round.
Oh,
Takes
wow.
35, 40 minutes.
Oh, that's cool. Here,
Just-
what course do you live on?
S-
Where do you live?
I can't say.
Oh, you can't. Okay.
You're
you're getting free golf. I see.
it's in Old Town. Yeah.
That's
yeah,
great.
Yeah, I'll tell you
I know.
after.
I know the area well. I lived
Yeah.
there back in the day.
Oh,
Old
nice.
Town, Scottsdale. Yeah, I spent a decade and a half roaming around that space before I was married. Spent a lot of time in Old Town, Scottsdale.
Before you were married, I see.
Before, yeah. Once you get married, you don't go to Old Town, Scottsdale. It's not a good space.
See,
for
I'm
a
not
dad.
married. I
No,
still
you're
don't go to
single
Old Town.
guy. Oh, yeah. Okay, so one question for you here before we go. What would be one thing if people were to learn this about you, Clayton? They'd say that surprises me about Clayton because you're obviously a serious athlete and you're turning to a serious businessman. It sounds like, but what would people be surprised to if they said, Clayton's? Give me one thing you think people would be surprised.
I'm a goofy boy. No,
goofy?
I don't know.
Don't
That's a
know?
good
I'll put you on
question. I think I guess this isn't like necessarily surprising, but I like to have balance.
Mm-hmm.
Where I have the high extremes, I like to have the balance of like the peaceful things.
Mm-hmm.
So golf is one of those things.
Yeah.
It's like I'll
Yeah.
go and base jump, this like really intense, kind of violent sport,
Yeah.
and then come home and play around. And it's like
Chill.
sometimes my body is like, whoa,
Wait a
like
minute.
let's sprint or something. But I have to have that balance of like I can't be doing too much
and the
because then
yang.
my brain
Yeah.
I start just going crazy. And if I'm going and doing stuff all day, it's like
Mm-hmm.
I start getting back into kind of how I used to be, where it was like
How you
I
used to be.
I would scooter like 10 hours a day,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would go and party and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So it was like just a lot of dopamine dumps, But now I'm trying to like,
Control that.
yeah, control a little bit because I'm getting older and I get
Yeah.
tired easier. It's annoying.
Yeah. Your nervous system needs balance.
It
It's
does.
real. You
Some
can,
yin and yang,
Yeah, it is.
and then some
It really is.
yoga, and then climbing isn't necessarily like it's scary, but it's very peaceful. It's quiet. You're out in nature, or even if I'm at like the bouldering gym, it's very like
I just don't see climbing as peaceful, my
it's
man.
so peaceful.
You're hanging on the side of a cliff.
You got a rope?
Yeah, but you're still on the side of a mountain, man. You got a rope.
So
So
fun.
what? Just
So it's pretty safe. If you do everything correctly, it's
Yeah.
like very peaceful.
some of the guys I kite surf with are climbers too. Some of the guys
Should
are into
try it.
that, but yeah, so perfect. Where can people go to learn more about you, Clayton?
Go to my Instagram at Clayton Lindley, or they can go to my business media page, Ragtown Media.
Ragtime Media.
Ragtown. It's another name
Ragtown.
for Amarillo, actually. So it was my
really?
dad's company, and then he gave me it. So
Oh, really?
yeah. So now I'm carrying on the legacy.
Ragtown Media.
Yeah.
Very cool. And you're based in Scottsdale now, not just Amarillo.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh yeah. No.
And
I'm not in Amarillo.
No, no. Amarillo's a small little place. What am I
Oh, yeah.
thinking? But and you can help folks with all of this stuff, with marketing a business, with all that jazz, all media stuff,
All production.
all production.
Yeah. I stay away from the social media stuff. I'll
Okay.
create like really great content for it, but
Mhm.
I don't run people's socials.
Don't run their socials.
I'll hire other people for that.
Yes.
Like Alina. Spit
Okay.
dev.
All right.
Last question though.
Yes, sir.
What would people be surprised about you?
Probably that I'm a Christian, and that my faith is very important to me. I don't wear it on my shirt sleeve, and that doing things in my faith is important to me. Connecting to God, I connect to God through Jesus Christ. Some people connect to God through Buddha. Some people connect to God through Abraham or through the prophet. And I'm not a Christian that proselytizes I don't push my faith on other people, but I want to live that way because it's cool. It's cool to try to live like Christ taught us. I guess that would be the people look at me and go, that heathen, that dude, I knew that guy he was a bad boy. That's probably what they say. Anyway.
That's great though.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for listening to Bending Over Backwards with James Adkins. I hope this episode helps you push through boundaries and embrace new challenges, standing taller in your own shoes. Until next time, keep bending over backwards to make things happen in your life.
I definitely feel taller after this.
Do you?
Yeah.